Hey, Soulpreneur family, this is Tanisha White,
And Marcy Ferry.
and you're listening to the Soulpreneur Sundays podcast, a show for soul-led entrepreneurs and solopreneurs who want to build their own businesses.
But who don't want to go on that journey completely alone.
Join us as we share our honest and real soulpreneur stories, including the highs and the lows.
And learn about solutions and resources that we found along the way that can help you with a wide array of common soulpreneur challenges.
Welcome to our sacred space.
Welcome to Soulpreneur Sundays. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 10 of Soulpreneur Sundays. This episode is a continuation a bit of our last episode about your 9-to-5 exit plan, but this time we're talking about what you need, the basics, to have yourself set up as soon as you make that big leap. So this is a time where you might be feeling a little bit nervous, a little bit unsure. So hopefully by us sharing our experiences, this can help you. And same thing if you already have your own business and you're about to make a major transition in that business, some of this stuff could be helpful for you as well. So welcome. Hi, Tanisha. How are you doing today?
Hey, Marcy, I'm so excited to be here and talk about this experience that so many people are going through right now, right? We had like this crazy thing happen where we had like this like mass exodus of the workforce. So there's a lot of people out here that need to know like, okay, sis, what do I need to do? I'm trying to get this business off the ground, or I'm trying to supplement my income, or I'm trying to figure out a way to make money. Tell me what I got to do. I'm excited.
Yes. And there's a lot of, practical things to consider, some things that might slip your mind. And, if you're someone who's already gotten started, you haven't done some of the things we say today, just heads up, totally okay. You could always go back and do these things, but this is just kind of from our experience, what was helpful to have set up already.
Yes.
So first things first, let's see, what would we recommend that you make sure you have? So for me, I like to check that I've got all of my accounts and everything set up. So this means software accounts, any bank accounts you might need. Like that was one of the very first things I just made sure I got. So I have my website hosting. I've decided on that. I know where it's going and I know what my social handles are. I know who I'm using as my email provider, all that good stuff. And that takes some research. So allow yourself that research time. Really like go in and do those comparisons. There's websites when you Google, like they'll compare like MailChimp versus ConvertKit versus, whatever other platform there is. But you can look through all of that and kind of assess what's best for you. And always knowing that it could change later and that's okay. But doing your best now to just kind of do that research and settle on one just to get yourself started is always good.
Yes. And right now, there are so many more options than there was, say, like when I started, like 10 years ago, right? Everything costs so much money.
Yes.
Like just to have a good email marketing software was like hundreds of dollars,
Yep.
right? Now there's so many options out here that are free to use because you're just starting out. So if you have a small audience or you are literally just starting, you have options that are free. Do not feel like you have to have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to start. Start where you can. There are free options or low cost options for you. Do not run up like this super grandiose overhead thinking that, oh, I have to have the best of the best right out of the gate. There are really great options out here for you to use for your email marketing, to grow your email list, or to create a website, to create sales pages or funnels or things of that nature that you can use for free. But you have to do the research. Speaking of doing the research, you're going to want to research your market. You need to know what other people are offering so that you know where your gap in the market is so you can fill in that gap. Whatever your market is, product, service, whatever. Marcy, there is something that you talked about just a second ago, which was like making sure you have all of your accounts together. Gem. That probably went over some people's head. Gem, because you need to make sure that your website name, your handles for your social media accounts, all of the things that you need to set up, you need to make sure that those names are available
Yes.
and that they match
Yep.
so people can find you everywhere. So if you are going to have YouTube, podcast, website, TikTok, Instagram, whatever your platforms are going to be, they need to have the same name. And you need to make sure that somebody else doesn't already have that name. And if
Yes.
someone does have the name you want, you need to figure out how to adapt it to make it unique for you. Make it easy to spell, easy to remember, and make sure that you don't have a whole lot of underscores and periods and characters. Like, don't do that. People don't remember that. Make it simple and to the point, easy for people to remember. Like Soulpreneur Sundays, you're going to remember that. You're going to remember that every Sunday we have an episode because it's in the name, right? And Mercy always gives me these. What is the two S's things?
Oh, the
The
alliteration. I
alliteration. I
love
love it.
alliteration.
I love it. I love when there's alliteration, so there's like two of the same, because think about it, in just marketing or branding, things that are similar to another, like similar to one another, you remember. So think about those things when you're creating it. Okay, I'm going to get off my little tangent there, but um Marcy, what are some things that you found to be the most helpful for getting yourself started as you were launching your business?
Yeah, I think just connecting to with other people who could help me. Like as much as doing research is great, I definitely recommend that research on all the different platforms and the names and your market, like doing all of that Google, and because a lot of that you can just type into Google and figure some things out and find.
Yeah.
But there's also like something to be said for having like actual experts and people you can talk to. So whether that's a mentor or another fellow business owner, for me, reaching out to an accountant was actually a big thing because I just had no idea how I was supposed to set myself up. So when I talked to the accountant, that helped me clear up those questions of like, do I need an LLC? Do I need an S corp? Like, what am I supposed to be? Like
Yeah.
all of that stuff that could be really overwhelming that like most business owners were just like, I don't even want to deal with that. I just want to set my thing up
Me.
and sell stuff. Like
Sis, it's me. Not most. It's me. I am them. They are me. It's me.
it's just like over my head sometimes, all of that
Yeah.
legalese, the legal jargon. And same thing with I actually contacted like a lawyer too, because I wanted to have like my documents and stuff ready because I teach yoga. So I had to have like a liability waiver form and all that jazz. And I had to have insurance for liability. So, like, depending on what you're doing, there might be different layers to this where you're going to need different experts to talk to. You'll see a lot of people out there who will say, you absolutely must have an LLC. You absolutely must have an S Corp. And, when I sat down and talked to an accountant, I was like, okay, I'm freaking out a lot less now because he just leveled with me and was like, look, you're just starting out. Let's be honest. You're not making a ton of money. Like you're starting. And he's like, being an LLC or an S corp doesn't even make sense until you're making like 100 grand or more because it costs so much to like make those things. And there's taxes and all this stuff you've got to do with that. And so he advised to me like just be a sole proprietor and you can
Did,
always bump up. Like you
did
can
y'all hear
always do
that?
that.
Did y'all hear that? Let's rewind that. Rewind that back. You do not need to be an LLC, a S corp, all those things. Now, is it beneficial if you know
Certainly.
that you're going to make money? Absolutely. Do you have to do it right at this very moment? No.
Like, give yourself time to grow. Like, that was a big thing I realized. I'm like, I'm just like, we're little babies in this, right? We're,
Yes.
we're starting out.
And another thing, this is totally, it's on topic, but it's a little bit of a tangent. I want to throw this in there. Like, stop putting LLC in your business name. Stop it. Stop doing that.
Yeah, that should really only appear in your legal documents if you're a legit LLC. Like, you don't need to have it in your, like,
It should not
title.
be Gigi's Cookies and Treats LLC. Stop it. Don't do it anymore.
It's
Drop it.
unnecessary.
It is completely unnecessary. Now, on your official documents, do you need to put LLC? Yes. If you file things with the state, does it need to be LLC? Yes. But your Instagram name is not
No,
Gigi's Cookies and Treats LLC.
don't need
Stop
that
doing
on your
it.
Instagram. Nope.
Stop it.
No.
Or in your email address
Yeah.
or on your website. Okay. Now you can put it at the footer of your website so people know that you're an LLC. Okay. Do those things, but it does not need to be your Instagram or your YouTube or your TikTok handle. It is absurd. Stop doing it.
Yes.
Thank you for coming to my talk. Okay?
I'm all about eliminating unnecessary words. And I know some people want that LLC too, because the argument, like a lawyer would tell you, because the lawyers told me a different thing. They were like, get the LLC. My account was like, no. So, from a lawyer's perspective, when you're a sole proprietor, that means that you can be sued directly in your personal assets if someone were to choose to come after you. Whereas with an LLC, it's just your business assets. Like you wouldn't be personally involved with that. So, there is a level of risk that that carries, but that is also why I did find a lawyer who would still write my contract agreements for me without it being an LLC. So, like my freelance agreement for yoga teaching, if I have like a group program, like I have a group program agreement so that can help cover you. Again, if you're not doing a ton of business, I don't know, that risk of being sued and you're not even charging that much when you just start out, like to me, I'm like, I think I'm okay. Once I hit a point where like I'm making a lot in my business, then I
Mm-hmm.
would feel like, yes, okay, now it makes sense. Now it's time for me to do that. So this is going to be
Yes.
a personal choice. If you're someone who's like very nervous about legal stuff like that, then okay, maybe. But just know that it's going to cost a lot to set up those LLCs and S corps, and like taxes each year are going to
Yes.
be a giant pain in the butt. So
And just to be clear, we are not lawyers. We are
yeah,
not
yeah,
accountants. We are not giving you legal advice,
yeah,
okay? We are not giving you advice on accountants. We are just telling you about our experiences,
yeah.
okay? So,
Definitely reach out to a lawyer or an accountant directly if
yes,
you want those
but
pieces.
don't just reach out to one. Try
Yes.
multiple people and get other opinions because everyone's opinion is going to be different, but you also have to use your discernment
Hmm.
and figure out what works best for you, right? So if Gigi's Cookies and Treats, right? Are you really making enough cookies to and if you are making something that's being consumed by the public, maybe you do want to get a little bit more legal protection. Maybe you do want to go ahead and get incorporated and have your LLC just in case you have an event and someone gets sick,
Hmm.
something like that. You need to use your common sense in that area and in that situation to make sure that you are protecting yourself and your business. But if you are starting out, like Mercy was saying, and you're just making treats for, say, your family members right now, right? Because you're starting out, maybe that's not necessary at this moment. But as you start to grow and then you start maybe taking on clients outside of the people that you know, maybe that's the time where you want to incorporate your business, okay? But use your discernment and don't feel like you have to do it all right now,
Yeah.
okay? It's so good.
You can grow, you can take it baby steps and make your way. Lots of people freelance and are in the gig economy, and we all have different levels of where we're at and how we define ourselves, and it all works out. So,
Absolutely. So, in regards to like getting a website and stuff, right? What would you suggest from your personal opinion and your professional opinion, right? What do people need to have on that website? Because that's something that I know a lot of
yeah.
people ask. Like, okay, I got to get a website, but what the hell's what we're supposed to put on there?
Yeah. So there's definitely different schools of thought on this too. And again, it kind of depends where you're at. But say you're a coach, I'll use that as an example, and you have a very specific program that you're marketing and you're looking to get the one-to-one clients, you need to get your website up fast because you have people coming to you already. You want to have the stuff there. You could start with just a landing page that is a sales page for that program. You could
Hmm.
just and make it a long page where like, you've got the details of the program, how much it costs, like who you are, all that good stuff. And you could get by with just having that for a while, just a landing
Mhm.
page. If you're offering multiple services, you're doing different types of things, you're selling products, then at that point, it makes sense to really build out a website more. So you're going to want a home page, an about page, a services page, most likely. I feel like those are the basics. And some type of contact form on your website or a link to book a consultation, whether you use Acuity or Square or whatever. Is it Square? Who's the other one that does appointments? One of them, but I always forget.
You have so many. There's like Honeybook and
Yeah.
there is Calendly.
Oh,
Is that how you
Calendly,
say it?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's definitely different platforms you can use depending on what website you have and what embeds. But I think the most important thing is if you're a service provider, you definitely want to have them be able to book easily an appointment with you or
Mhm.
purchase whatever. If you have a coaching package or something like that, you want that front and center, easy to purchase. The rest of the stuff is just kind of like icing on the cake,
Yes.
in my opinion.
And make it easy. The more complicated you make it, the more time you give your clients the opportunity to talk themselves out of it,
Yeah.
right? Or to figure out objections or reasons as to why they shouldn't do it right now. They can always do it later. Make the process on your website super simple and easy and to the point. Give them all the information they need to know. Don't be secretive about your pricing and all of that. Put it up front and center. Let people know what they're getting into. Transparency equals conversion.
Yes. Oh, that's such a good
Okay?
point. I struggled in the beginning about whether or not I should have pricing listed on my website as a freelancer.
Mm-hmm.
I did not. And there's so, if you Google this, there's like everyone argues different sides at different points.
Yeah.
It's really overwhelming. I went on the side of putting my prices on the website because people want to know how much it costs. And like, I feel like you're going to be less likely to book a consult with me if you don't even know, like, you don't even have a ballpark of how much it's going to cost you. Like, when I think about when I go to someone's website and I can't figure out how much it costs, I'm kind of out because I'm like, well, I'm going to assume they're overpriced then because there might be a reason they're hiding it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And someone like me, I want to know what I'm getting myself into. I
Hmm.
don't want to waste your time or my time. So I need to know, is your pricing in the range of what my budget is going to fit?
Yeah.
Right. And if you don't fit into my budget, then I might go somewhere else. But if you are in that budget or I find value in what I might be able to adjust, right? I might be like, okay, is there a payment plan?
Yes, exactly.
Right. If there's a payment plan, sis, sign me up. Right. So,
Yeah.
but if I don't know, and another thing is we're getting into this time where there's so many people out here scamming people or giving people a lot of fluff, giving people a lot of generalized Googled information.
Yeah.
You have to be transparent with your client so that they know exactly what they're getting. Because people are fed up and tired. People, when I say people, I mean me, tired of giving their money to people to get Googled information.
Yeah.
So be transparent. And when you're being transparent, I look at it as like you are being like coming from a place of integrity, right? These are my prices, and I'm not ashamed of my prices. I'm not ashamed of my prices because I know what value I'm giving to my clients. I know that my one on one clients or my group clients or my product or whatever it is that I am giving you is worth this. Right? It has a value to it. And I know that once I give this to you, you're going to be able to take this information or take this product and benefit or make some type of transformation with it. So don't be ashamed to put your pricing out there. Be as transparent and authentic as you can with your clients. They will appreciate it so much more than it being like super sneaky, like, oh my gosh, it's like taboo for me to tell you how much I charge. No, just put it on the page. We
Exactly.
want to know.
Yeah. I think that's really important. And then, Tanisha, I know when I've done programs with you, you have been really like, have provided really good guidance on how to get the socials set up. So, what do you recommend? Like, we can start with Instagram, but I'm sure it can apply to many of the other platforms. But like, what do you want on there to start? What should be
Okay,
there?
so it's really important that you know how you communicate, right? So, like, if you know that you're not really a person who is into being camera ready all the time, maybe you don't choose a platform where you have to be camera ready to produce, right? So, um, you might want to do like a podcast, right? Where I can record. I don't got to film myself. I could show up in my PJs if I want to, right? Um, but you just want to be mindful of how you show up and how you best get across your message, right? So if you want to do videos, YouTube might be your best platform. So let's start, like you said, with Instagram. When you start Instagram, the first thing that I tell my clients is uh, check for your name. Like I said, check for your handle, make sure that handle's not taken. Then the next thing is you want to create your bio. I want you to think about your bio like your online business card, right? It is the thing that tells people who you are, what you do, and what value or transformation that you can provide for them in their life. I don't care if you have a product or a service. um, you want to speak directly to the client or the person who needs what you have. So when they come across your content and they go to your profile and they look at you, they're like, oh, hey, I like this. I can rock with this. This is going to bring value, or this is something that I'm currently working on, or this is something that I need. I need to follow this person, right? Because it's not just enough anymore to have a great aesthetic or to have pretty pictures or videos. People want to know what you're bringing into their life because they don't follow you for you. They're following you because they want to know what value are you putting into my life. So you want to fill out, like I said, the who, what, where, when, why, and how. Okay. But we're going to break that down to a really simple thing. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you help or serve? Or, what's your product? And where can I find out more? Right? That's your link in bio. Your link in bio is the place where they can connect with you more. So, what is your website? What are your other social media platforms? What other places can I go if you have like a Patreon or you have any other uh, platform or access to another way to connect with you? You want to put that in your bio. You do not have to use Linktree, people. Okay, I know everyone loves Linktree because
I
it's
have
simple,
Linktree.
but there are so many other. Oh, I had Linktree forever. Okay, but I had to step my game up. Okay, I'm going to share some apps with you after we get off of here. That I've been sharing with my one-on-one clients. They're chef's kiss. Okay, but sometimes the Linktree ain't enough because you might have things that you want to show and you want to show your personality. You want to express yourself, right? So there's other apps out here that are free where you can add a photo and you can make it nice. If you are somebody who does a service, right? Or somebody who um, takes tips for your job, there's certain ones that you can add your Cash App or your Venmo or something to your links so people can easily go on and find you and leave you a tip, right? I have one of my clients, she reads tarot. So she gets on TikTok and she does live streams on TikTok. And I told her, I was like, girl, you need to put your Cash App in your link so people don't have to go look for it. Make it as easy as possible. Okay. But tell people who you are and why it's important and why they need to follow you, why they need to keep up with you, why they need to be connected to you. I hope that was clear.
Absolutely. And I think I remember you telling me to like to start my account and like before I really heavily promoted it, like put up at least 10 posts so that it didn't look like a naked bear account, like that wasn't a real person.
Yeah, because there's so many scammers out there, right?
Yeah.
There's so many people like trying to impersonate other people. So I always tell my clients, like, try to create the first like 9 posts, right? You can do those and you don't have to post them literally all at the same time, but have them ready to go so that you're posting them like pretty close
Yeah.
together so that when people come across you, now you don't just have one post on there because if you go to a page and they have one post, I don't care how great that post is, you're going to be like, this is probably a bot, right? Or this is probably a scam page or something like that. So you want to make sure that you are, at least when you're first starting, especially if you're starting a new account, give people an idea of who you are and what kind of content that they should be expecting from you so that they know, like, okay, I really like this person. I like how they show up. I like the content that they provide. I think that this is valuable. I'm going to go ahead and follow them and interact with their content. And plus, it gives people more to engage with. You want to
Yeah.
think of your content kind of like something on Netflix, right? When we binge watch Netflix. Things on Netflix, we binge watch it. So you want people to binge on your content. You want to create things that people are going to want to know what's next.
Exactly. Yeah, that helped me a lot to have those first posts and stuff ready to go, and just gives you, like it feels good to know, like, what's going up first. 'Cause you're not just sitting
Yeah.
there, like, struggling day to day, like, so I have to post something on here right now so I don't look like a bot."
Yeah.
It's
And you know what's so funny? We were talking about that one time in one of our sessions, when we went over your bio and like we started changing
Yeah.
things in your bio, and then people started following you just out of
Yep.
nowhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, this works because when they were going to your profile before, it was like, okay, this content is great, but I don't really know who this person is or what they do, right? But once you got clear and you put that information in your bio, there was no hesitation for those people to follow you because they knew exactly what they were going to experience in your community, right?
Right, right. Yeah, the bio is hugely important. It's also the hardest part to write because you have that character limit and you if you're someone like me who does a lot of different things for services, it can feel really hard to be like, how do
Hmm.
I even summarize this? Like I still look at it and struggle because I'm like, well, now I also do this. So but there are
Yeah.
definitely ways to add that in, that's why you have a website. It's why you can continue to post and show like what you're doing. So,
Yes.
yeah.
It doesn't all have to fit in the bio, but we just want to give people an overview and a basic understanding of who you are and what you do and how you help them or how you get them from point A to point B, right? So if I have a brand that is a luxury skincare line, right? I'm going to let those people know, like, I'm going to take you from ashy to classy. Okay. I'm going to take you from here to here. I'm going to take you from dead, dry, cracked skin to beautiful, glowing, luminous, supple skin. Like, you're going to be summertime ready. When you go and you put that bathing suit on, baby, that tan is going to be tanning. That skin is going to be popping. Okay. So it's just simply letting people know. Because if I have cracked, dry, ashy skin, I'm already looking for you.
Right.
I know summer's coming. I'm looking for you. Think of keywords. Think of things that people with your ideal client's pain points or their struggles or the things that they're looking for. Think about those keywords. 9 times out of 10, they're searching for those things already.
Yes.
Put that in your bio, okay? Because no matter what platform you use, everybody has an algorithm and everybody has keywords. So when you have those keywords, when people are searching on any platform, baby, you're going to pop up. You want to be the go-to person in your field, but you got to use those keywords so people can find you.
Exactly. Same on your website.
Yeah.
Gotta have all that stuff there.
Yeah. I've been working
Utilize
with
your
my
SEO.
clients recently, like on their bios, because right now I'm doing this community accelerator. And I've been just working with them on their bios, like, hey, this is all over the place. Let's get this together. And every single one of them, as we adjusted their bio, they started seeing a difference in their follower count. and the engagement and interaction on their profile because people know what to expect now.
Yeah. It's funny, I've been doing people's about me pages a lot recently, other websites.
Yeah.
So I'm like on the flip side where it's longer form. And it's really interesting to me. Everyone struggles with writing their own about page. And so it is helpful to have someone come in and see it like from a bird's eye view or a higher perspective. Because a lot of times we get wrapped up. We were just talking about this. We get wrapped up in our own viewpoint of like what we do, and we don't always see the bigger picture. So it's fun for me, like when I look at about me pages similar to your profile on Instagram, you want people to know exactly what you do. So you kind of start broad, but then
Mm-hmm.
you move into now you have this opportunity to tell your story, how you got here, the little pieces of it. So I'm usually finding myself directing people to be like, okay, well, say who you are right now and what you do. Start there. That's the headline, right? And
Yes.
now let's move into, okay, how did you get here? Why are you uniquely qualified to do this? What do you offer people? What are you passionate about? And like let that story unfold from that point on down to the bottom of your
Yes.
page. Just a
Yes.
side note about, yeah. I know we're not specifically talking about me pages, but if
No,
you're
but
working
we
on that.
are. We definitely are. Speaking of about me pages, y'all, I'm literally over here trying to get Marcy to help me with my new website. I'm like, I need your help. Please help me. Right? Because literally, Marcy is the fairy godmother of media. And when I say media, I mean like all of it, like websites, podcast, video. She is like a production and media mega mind. Like, you know that movie? What was that movie that had a mega mind? He was like the
Yeah.
mad scientist.
I
That's
vaguely
that's
remember
Marcy.
that.
She's the
Oh dear.
fairy godmother of media. Literally. She literally takes all of the chaos in your brain that's like doing the swirly thing, right? Like you see that squiggle that everybody like have you ever seen that moving like pin squiggle?
Yes.
She takes that and she unwraps it and turns it into a straight line and makes copy. I don't know how she does it, but it's magic. Okay?
It's what I love to do.
And there is something to be said about those people who can write and also who can write for other people. Okay? So if you need copy, if you are looking for someone to help you to get clarity and define your story, find your story of your brand, of your business, of who you are and what you want to bring forth, right? Marcy is your girl. Go
Yes.
to her Instagram, book a consultation with her so you can get clear on your story. Because here's the thing, you're not going to get clear by just sitting in front of the website template like I've been doing for the past 3 weeks, just looking at it. It's not going to happen. Trust me when I tell you, it's not happening. Okay, that's why I've been doing it for 3 weeks. Let Marcy help you, or go to an expert that can help you.
Yeah.
Um, but it's necessary. Like you said, we don't always know. We talked about this. We were literally just talking about this.
We
It's
were.
like we're too deep in it for us
Yeah.
to see what's right in front of us. Sometimes you need to just jot down some notes and say, what can I get with this? These are the
Hmm.
things I'm great at. These are the things I want to do. Here is my expertise. This is my zone of genius. Here are the things I love. Here are the things that I create. Can you help me put this into something that makes sense?
Yes.
And there are people out here who can help you. One thing that we have to understand that as we launch our business and as we are going into this new journey of being a soulpreneur, right? We have to get out of the mindset of, I don't make enough to pay
Hmm.
someone else to do it. Yes, you do. You don't know until you know. There is somebody out there that will fit in your budget. You just have to know what to ask for.
Hmm. Oh,
So
that
you
is
need to
key.
get clear
Hmm.
on what it is you need. Hey, Marcy, I need an about me page. She's going to tell you, okay, what's going to cost this much, or this is how much my rate is. And you could tell the professional, here's my budget. This is what I have. How much can you help me with for this budget? Right?
Yeah.
And most of the time, that professional can say, okay, here's what I can do. I can give you maybe a template for that budget, right? I might not write it for you, but I might be able to give you a template to help you with the process. Or, sure, I can write maybe a paragraph or 2 paragraphs of copy for you for your page. Even if you got to start there, just start somewhere.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be everything all at once.
Yes. That brings up another point that I wanted to address with this, because I remember, and I've seen so many clients in so many different places and schools of thought on this. But like that whole, when you start out, there's that question of, do I drop a lot of money on the fanciest things right now and like building
Mm.
all these things? Or do I go the cheap route and know that eventually later I'm probably going to have to upgrade and move everything? Some people don't like that feeling of like, well, I'd rather just start with the best of the best right now. Okay, that's great. You can pay for all the things now, but you got to have the budget for it. Like you better have saved up a good amount to like get that done. I
Mm-hmm.
am more on the side of I start with the cheaper free stuff. I started with like, I don't really hire anyone to do stuff for me right now, and I'm fine with that. But like I'm starting very slow with like, okay, I'm doing the free MailChimp thing right now, but I'm gonna switch probably here soon. But I started that way. What else did I start with that was like a free? I mean, I just reused my WordPress website. I didn't go out and buy another fancy platform. With my equipment, that's another thing. If you're someone who needs equipment for stuff that you do, like we're here doing a podcast, we needed microphones. I don't have the most fancy, expensive microphone. I don't have the fancy, most expensive headphones. I went fashion, obviously. Uh,
I got this microphone for this podcast from Walmart,
yes, and the blue snowball is
and it's
great.
great.
I
And
love the
it's
blue snowball.
amazing. It's amazing. Do not think there's so many different things out here that are available for us now that weren't available before. You just have to do the due diligence to find them. They're
Hmm.
not going to show up to you in front of your door. It's not like Amazon. It might be on Amazon, but you do have to go and look for them. And here's the thing, Google is a resource.
Yeah.
Use your resources. Find out. Go and look at reviews. Go and see what other people are doing. Join programs and groups and ask people what they're
Yes.
using.
Yes. Like, to be honest, I'd rather you get cheaper equipment or cheaper tools and use that extra money to pay someone to help you do something. Like, figure out where you want that money to go and what would best serve you. I don't know if, for example, right now, if Tanisha, if we had the most expensive microphones, like I don't know exactly what huge difference that would make for us in this moment in time. I mean, maybe 2 years down the road when we're like, maybe do it a lot more, we're like, oh, it's time to upgrade. Cool. Like, we're good.
Why would you spend $300 on a microphone when you start a podcast and you're going to have 3 listeners?
Hmm.
Because here's the thing about podcasts, unless you've already built a community, unless you've already built an audience, nobody knows that you have a podcast.
Right.
It's going to be a build. It's going to be a
It's a slow build.
process. It's a slow build. Podcasts are something that are an evergreen thing, right? So don't have this unrealistic expectation like I'm going to put out this amazing podcast and then I'm going to have 10,000 listeners next week. That's not really how podcasting works. It is a slow burn.
Yes. I mean, it's the same
But
thing with social. It's the same thing with all these other things.
yes,
Slow
it
build.
lasts forever though, right?
Yeah.
Someone could search for a topic on a podcast and you might have created that podcast 6 months ago and then somebody gets a hold of it, someone listens to it, and it starts to ramp up, right? It starts to get more plays and more plays and more plays. And an episode that you did 6 months ago could then catch. And now you have all these listeners. So you never know when that's going to happen, but you don't need to spend $300 or $500 or $1,000 on equipment, right? To start. Just do what you can and get started.
Yes.
The
Don't
problem
let it
is,
hold you back.
a lot of times you're really just holding yourself back
Mhm.
because you're like, oh, well, I can't get the equipment. You're making excuses,
Mhm.
and you can't make excuses and make money.
Exactly.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
You have to choose. So either you're going to make money or you're going to make excuses.
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't, those two things cannot coexist at the same time with the same person. You got to pick one. Buy a mic at Walmart or on Amazon for what you can afford and make it do what it do until you can do better.
Exactly. 100%. Like, I thinking back, and I don't know if you have anything you regret spending a lot of money on, but I'll
Ugh,
share the
how
one of
much
the
time
things.
you got?
Seriously. I know for sure one thing I regret overspending on, and I won't even tell you how much I spent on it because I'm like, good Lord. So I talked about getting my legal agreements done. I was having a tough time because lawyers that I was finding wouldn't write them for me unless I formed an LLC. But I found a lawyer that like works with sole proprietors and things like that. So she, suggested based on what I was doing. And I had barely started my business yet. So I didn't actually know what my programs were going to be, what my offerings were going to be. So she was like, well, you might need this, and you might need this, and you might need this. And next thing I know, I'm having 5 agreements made that each cost a lot of money. And I remember when she told me the price, I was like, but then I was like, okay, I guess this is stuff I have to have. I regret now doing all of those because now I'm furthering my business and I'm coming up with more ideas for different programs. And I find myself adapting the stuff that she gave me anyway. So I'm like, what would have been the difference of me downloading a template online and adapting that versus having to adapt one that I paid for that now doesn't apply to the exact programming I'm doing? So I'm kind of kicking
Hmm.
myself for that one. I wish I hadn't dropped all that money. I think sometimes, depending on what you're doing, you can start with a template online or just have, if there's one you need right now, just get the one done.
Hmm.
Like I paid her to do my terms and conditions and privacy policy and all this stuff for the website. Some websites will just like, I think it's Wix or one of them will give you like a template and you can just, but I was afraid of it. I was afraid of filling out the
Shopify.
template. Oh, yeah, Shopify does it. Yeah. But for some reason, I was afraid of using the template because lawyers on their websites are saying like the templates aren't good enough. So I was like, okay. I'm like, well, of course they're going to say that. They're selling their services. Like, duh.
Yeah,
So yeah.
sometimes I think we just kind of freak ourselves out. And like I said before, we're not lawyers, we're not professionals, we are not giving you legal advice. I
Yes.
would
Thank
just
you for that
say
disclaimer.
that you need to be realistic.
Yeah.
If you don't have any clients, who's going to sue you? Right? Who's going to sue you if you're not making any money? If nobody's even buying anything? So, like, the things that you need to have, do what you got to do to get what you got to have, and then work your way up. It's like make some money first, and then have the money to pay somebody to do those things that you need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I,
Exactly.
I don't know how more simple to put it than that. Like, sometimes we literally like make ourselves crazy for things that we don't need. For me, I've changed several times throughout my life businesses. So like depending on what business it is, depends on what I've like spent money on. But I look at each investment that I've made, even though some of them I'm like, okay, that was stupid. Why did I do that? But every single one has different ones. Like when I had my cottage bakery, I bought so many supplies.
Mm.
So many cookie cutters. So many. Like, I literally have tubs and tubs of cookie cutters. Still to this day in my garage, I have a shelf, a cabinet that has containers full of different types of cookie cutters, right? Did I need all those kind of cookie cutters? No, absolutely not. But I can assure you, I've spent hundreds of dollars. Yeah, hundreds on cookie cutters that literally are sitting in bins in my garage right now. it's just kind of part of the process, right? Like even now, uh, doing social media, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on webinars, classes, mentorships, coaching, all of those things for people to tell me like the most fluffy things. Sometimes you just got to do it to figure it out.
It's so true.
We think that sometimes working with someone is going to give us the information that we don't need. Really, what it is you're trying to shortcut the process.
Yep.
And here's the thing, there is no shortcut through the process. You may learn tips and techniques on how to accomplish certain things, but you cannot shortcut the work that needs to be put into your business.
There are no shortcuts here, friends. No shortcuts.
It's the stairs. And it's not just any stairs, babe. It is the Stair Master. The Stair Master set on incline of like 7.5, right? Going at about 13, maybe 12 and a half. Like you're going to break a sweat. You're probably going to cry, right? There's going to be blood, sweat, and tears happening. But it is going to be worth it every step of the way. Just like on the Stairmaster, your thighs and your glutes
They're going to burn.
are going to burn, but they are going to be sitting real nice by the end. Like summertime, that thing going to be sitting nice, right? Peach emoji. Okay?
You're going to be so happy you put in that work.
Exactly. And that is the same thing. Like you just have to do it. There is no way to shortcut through the process. You have to do the work.
Yes.
And sometimes that means you got to make dumb investments, right? You got to buy things that you didn't need because now you didn't know. You just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, this is why I tell people when I meet with my clients, like when you're first starting out, resist that urge to go buy the $3,000 branding guidance from an expert. Like resist that urge to.
First off, you're going to change that branding, that logo, those colors,
so many
your name
times.
so many times.
Just don't do it.
Changed my stuff so many times. Colors, fonts, everything.
Yes.
So many times.
Wait till you're established to really drop that kind of money on that stuff. There's other ways to get by. Like I help people and I just make stuff in Canva for them and unshared. We do like our little shared folder and we go back and forth and make stuff on Canva together because that's, you pay for Canva, but it's not that expensive for one. But It gives you all these templates. It gives you something to start with. It's going to give you a little more ease because now you can change things. And then when you're ready to really do a fancy full package brand, go do that. When you're ready to do a full fancy website, go do that. But start simple.
Yeah. First off, you got to make money to pay for those things.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people are telling people is like, you're starting a business. And like you said before, the products or the services that you offer at the beginning are going to change.
They're totally going to change. Even if you love what it is right now, there's going to be some other iteration.
Yes. And so don't get attached to those things. Don't get attached to what it looks like right now. Now, there might be a few people that just have that vision in their mind and they're like, nope, I'm sticking with this. This is going to be it. And it takes off just the way it is. But those people are very far and few in between. And I can assure you that there were some adjustments that they made along the way.
Absolutely.
So don't be attached to it. Just start working towards it so that you can fail faster.
Yeah. And fail without like that burden of, oh my God, I dropped $3,000 on this thing. Like, what do I do now?
No. Honey, pay $12.95 for Canva.
Yeah.
A month. Okay? Pay your little $12.95. Get your stuff together, play around with the colors, play around with the things that you like. And then once you get your clients and you're booked, right? And you have enough clients to then pay someone else to do it for you, to get it professionally done, then you do that.
Yes.
Then you hire a graphic designer. But like, don't hire people before you even have, unless this is the one thing that I tell people, unless you are one of those people who you're like, I'm going to stay in my 9 to 5 until I build this out, until
Yeah,
I switch them out, right? I'm not leaving my 9 to 5 until I'm making the same amount or more in my business than I'm making at my job. You can use that money from your
exactly.
job to fuel the things that you need to use for your business.
Yeah,
If you have that because you have something to fall back on, by all means, go for it, right?
absolutely.
But if you're out here and you're like, sis, I'm trying to make it work, right? I got to pay my bills out of these clients
Mhm.
without anything else. Just be
Yeah.
mindful of your overhead.
And that's why I even said in the last episode, when you're making that exit plan and you know just about how much time you have left, try to do those things that you really want to do before you leave, like paying for the
Hmm.
trainings and all that stuff. Like I did my yoga teacher training before I left so that I had like the money to pay for that. If you can be strategic about it, you can't always be. Sometimes life and stuff happens and you don't have that luxury, whether you can't stand the job or you're let go from the job or whatever. So if you're able to plan that out, that's great. If not, you're starting with a lower budget, and it's all about you putting in your own time and energy. Then put in your time and energy and do the budget pieces, and just slowly put in the work. It'll feel painful maybe at times when you're starting out, but it will be worth it. It'll be to get to yourself to a point where you have just enough to really launch and to get yourself out there and see where it goes. Can
Yeah.
always change later.
And here's the thing, it will change. So even if you're a person right now who's listening to this podcast and you're feeling discouraged because your business started as one thing and now you are in the process of maybe rebranding or going in a different direction entirely or starting something completely new, it is okay to start over. It is
Yes.
okay that that first thing didn't work. It is okay that you changed your mind. Majority of businesses don't last more than 7 years. That is a statistic. That is a fact, right? Majority of us as entrepreneurs, as soulpreneurs, as solopreneurs, we will have multiple different businesses through the duration of our lifetime. You have a more chance of your business changing, shifting, pivoting than you do having the same business 20 years from now. Most of us will not leave this earth with the same business that we started with. This is just something that is the process, right? So it's okay to shift. Don't get in the habit of shifting because you're trying to avoid doing the work, right? Or get addicted to like that adrenaline of starting something new. But if something isn't working or you're growing in another direction or you're expanding into something else, it's okay. It's okay for you to change your branding, change your colors, change it to something that's more aligned to what it is that you're trying to achieve. I know, like, Mercy, we have had many conversations where we're like, the way that I'm doing this doesn't really feel aligned with where I am right now. I maybe want to shift this or pivot and make this feel better for me, right? Make this make sense for me. I feel like having the ability to uh not hold on to it allows you to really find your sweet spot,
Mhm.
as you call it, right? That's what you call it. You call it the sweet spot. And I feel like if you don't go through all those other things in the beginning and all those other colors and logos and ideas, right? You don't really get to the point where you're like, okay, this is it right here. I like
Yeah.
this. This is my sweet spot. This is where my um heart really lights up. This is where I feel like I'm in my zone. This is where that creativity is really flowing, right? And I feel like all those other processes are necessary to get to that point, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like I've said that in other episodes where it's like, if I hadn't experimented with a bunch of different things and tried it first, I wouldn't know where, like, the space I really wanted to play in.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to experience it to get further on the journey. There's no, like, just like you're saying, there's no shortcuts. There's no way to skip around that. You just kind of have to go through it and live through it, and you have to do the work.
Yeah. And I keep coming across this thing because, like I was saying before, we're in the middle of this community accelerator, and so many of my clients are struggling. Like, I don't know what to create. I don't know what to do. I don't know like what content to put on my platform. And I'm like, you are the content. Whatever you're experiencing right now in your business, that's the content. If you are having an amazing business right now and you're selling products and like you're like, baby, I can barely keep up with these orders. That's the content. The content is you fulfilling the orders, you enjoying the experience, you growing your business. Or even the opposite. I'm not really getting the clients that I need. I'm not really sure what exactly I want to do. I'm trying to figure it out. That is the content because there's somebody else out there that also is experiencing the same thing. You are the content. Stop searching outside of yourself for something that is already present. So I don't care if you're on YouTube. I don't care if you're on TikTok. I don't care if you are on whatever the kids are doing these days. Okay. You are the content. You are the thing that's going to connect people to your brand, to your business, to your service, to your product. Figure out a way to articulate to them what that process it looks like, what you're experiencing now. What are the high points and what are the challenges? Tell people. That's the thing that's going to make people feel connected to your business, to your brand, to whatever it is that you're doing. So I hope that that
Absolutely.
really helps somebody out there today on this lovely Sunday.
Yes. I know we dropped a lot of information in this episode, and it can be overwhelming when you're starting out to think about all these things. But I think the best way to summarize it is to, do your research, make
Hmm.
smart choices for you and for your budget, reach out to other people, mentors, other experts, people that might be able to inform you a little bit better on what you do and don't need. So you have that assurance and have some discernment about who you want to listen to and who will really help you get further and knows your industry as well. And I think just being honest with yourself about what you like to do, what you don't like to do, what you can take on when it comes time to make decisions about where you might want to spend money and where you might want to bring in some paid help. So,
Yeah. And if all else fails and you're just sitting here looking, listening or watching this and you're like, I need help, right? I don't know my story. I don't know anything that's happening. I need help, right? Go find Mercy on her social media handle, the Mystical Fairy. Okay. It's in the show notes. And she can help you get that, pull that story out, make sense of it. And if you need help with building a community in your social media, my social media is there too. Either one of us are available and you can book a consultation because the link is
yes,
in the bio, right? The link is in the bio.
head right there.
I mean, we're here, we're available. This
And we
was a
love to
great
talk.
episode. What? Podcast is the most perfect option for us because we could talk to each other all day because I know because we've done it before.
We have. We legitimately have. It's true.
This was so good. So as we wrap up this first season, right? We did our first season, Marcy. Oh my God.
Season 1.
Um, we have so many exciting things that are coming for you guys. I hope that everyone enjoyed this first season, the first 10 episodes. And make sure that you subscribe to this so you know when we bring season 2 back.
Yes.
And make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our social handles that are going to be in the show notes as well.
Yes,
Anything
yes.
else?
I think that's it. I'll just say I'll promise I'll start posting more during our little break because I've been a little bit quiet on social media. But if you join my email list, I'm more active there.
That's because you've been working, girl.
So much working.
So much work.
But we're
Marcy is out
taking
here
this.
changing lives, man. She's out here getting people, getting people's stories together.
Yes. Well, we're
It's
taking
so
this
good.
this little break for the summer, so maybe I'll get on my social and talk more.
I think that certain things are just for certain people. We just got to figure out what works. And remember, like, we're cyclic beings. We work in cycles, just like everything else, just like the seasons. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
there are times where we just got to go with what is in our lives right at that time. And sometimes it's time for us to be off, right? Sometimes it's time for us
Sometimes.
to be on. Sometimes it's time for us to be off. And at this time, you're just off because you're on to
Exactly.
other things. That's it.
Exactly. We all have to honor our own cycles. That's another
Yes,
reminder for you all as you work through this. It will
exactly.
happen. Take your time. Make mistakes, learn from them because it'll happen.
Yep. Oh, so many mistakes. So many. That's like a whole episode. That might even be a whole season
Oh, yeah.
within itself.
All the mistakes I made. Yeah.
Oh,
I could talk about that for a while.
definitely. I feel like we talk about that a lot already.
We do. It's true to an extent.
Eh,
There's more
it's been
coming,
good.
though. We promise you.
For sure. For sure. I've made 30 mistakes today. For sure.
We'll have even more to share when we come back.
All right, guys. Well, we have enjoyed getting to know you through this first season, allowing you guys into our soulpreneur journeys. And we hope that we have helped you through your soulpreneur journey as well. We're so excited to continue this journey with you and to help you grow through this process and to be a support system for you here. We will catch you later. Enjoy some of our past episodes until we come back, and make sure you share these episodes with a friend.
Yes. We hope you all have lovely summers. Enjoy your summer. We will be back at you in the fall.
Yes. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Soulpreneur Sundays.
We hope you learned something new and feel comforted and inspired by what you heard.
We'd love to feature your comments, questions, or stories in future episodes. So be sure to leave us a note and let us know about your business and what you'd like to hear more about.
To make sure you get notified of new episodes, subscribe to the podcasts on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube.
You can also follow us on Instagram at Soulpreneur Sundays Podcast.
And you can find both of us on Instagram at Tanisha White
and at The Mystical Fairy, with fairy spelled Farrey.
Join us again next Sunday for a new episode.
Thanks for listening.